Liberians are voting Tuesday for just the second time since the end of their 14-year civil war.
President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf is seeking a second term in the vote just days after receiving the Nobel Peace Prize. Despite the prestigious international honor, Mrs. Sirleaf is facing a tough fight for re-election. The Liberian leader is running against more than a dozen opponents, and her stiffest competition comes from a ticket that includes a former presidential candidate and soccer star George Weah.
For an update on Liberia's voting day, we're joined via phone from Monrovia by VOA's James Butty. Welcome to In Focus, James.
Thank you very much, Vincent and Undimiaki.
Thank you. Now, how can you, James, how can you describe the voting process up to this point?
The voting process is going smoothly so far here in the capital, Monrovia. Of course, we have yet to receive reports from around the country. Despite the rainfall this morning in the capital, although the weather is clearing now, there were long lines that began forming early this morning. The United Nations peacekeepers are out in full at various locations around the city, apparently maybe to ensure a peaceful voting process, and it all seems to be going well. President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf cast her ballot early this afternoon in Butty County. That's about an hour's drive from the capital. And she also told me earlier that she believes her chances of being re-elected are very good. And that while most Liberians may not have yet benefited from the things that her administration has been doing, she believes that eventually they will get to benefit from some of the programs that she has put in place. Winston Tutman of the Congress for Democratic Change, that's the party of soccer legend George Weah, also cast his ballot at a high school here called G.W. Gibson High School this morning. And he told us also upon arriving that he believes that the Liberian people will choose the CDC over the ruling party of President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. He believes the Unity Party or the Congress for Democratic Change will bring about unity.
Right, James, there were concerns, though isolated, of perhaps violence in case of, cases of fraud, or if they perceive that things are not going the way they ought to be. Tell me, have you witnessed any unpleasant incident in Monrovia, or have you heard any of such incidents across the country?
No incident so far of violence. In fact, I think I talked at one of the polling stations with Dr. Mrs. Speciosa Kazibwe. I think she's the former vice president of Uganda, who is heading the African Union Election Observer team. She observed that the process, the people were so peaceful despite the rainfall. Some people even were standing in the rain, but there was no pushing. Nothing. People were just waiting for their turn to go in the ballot box and vote.
Okay. James, thank you very much for those updates. That's James Butty of the Voice of America, who joined us from Monrovia, Liberia.